Iranian state media now says Tehran is reviewing the latest U.S. proposal to end the war. Today, Pakistan's army chief is expected to travel to Iran's capital to continue efforts there to help broker a deal. The president said he was an hour away from greenlighting a new attack on Iran earlier this week, but then called it off to allow talks to proceed. CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro joins us now with more on this. So, Aaron, what do we know about what is in this latest peace proposal? What are you hearing from the White House?
Well, Chanel and Errol, good to be with you. We have seen Iranian news reports that the Pakistani military official that is meeting with them is supposed to be carrying a new message from the United States. But we don't have the full specifics of that or the latest proposal that the U.S. sent to Iran. We know it has been a revision of the original 14-point framework that kicked off these back and forth rounds of negotiations. In that was President Trump's red line of Iran committing to never build a nuclear weapon, and Iran's asks that the fighting on all fronts stops, including between Israel and Lebanon, and that the U.S. unfreezes sanctioned Iranian assets. But we know that one sticking point between both sides heading into today was the extraction of Iran's processed uranium and potentially sending that to a third-party country. That has been something that President Trump, the White House, has floated, but Iranian leaders have said in public that they are opposed to, even though allies such as Russia have offered to be the third-party country. President Trump told reporters yesterday that the posture of the U.S. military remains ready for a renewed military campaign against Iran should these diplomatic talks fail. And he said at this point that they are in the final stages of diplomacy with Iran.
If we don't get the right answers, it goes very quickly. We're all ready to go. We have to get the right answers. It would have to be a complete 100% good answers. And if we do, we save a lot of time, energy, and lives. Could go very quickly. Or a few days.
And on Tuesday, earlier this week, President Trump claimed he was an hour away from this renewed military campaign on Iran, but said he was convinced otherwise by other allies in the region of the Middle East. Iran's Revolutionary Guard has said if the U.S. or Israel resumes their campaign on Iran, that the war would be extended, quote, beyond the region.
And Aaron, yesterday, President Trump said he spoke on the phone with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, but we also heard him repeat the phrase, he'll do whatever I tell him to do. I spoke with the former U.S. ambassador to Israel this morning, Dan Shapiro, and he said that's politically humiliating for Netanyahu to have the U.S. president refer to him in such a way. So what do we know about their conversation with each other?
And that comment comes after some criticism from Republicans here in the United States that Israel was dictating the U.S. actions when it comes to Iran. When it comes to the phone call, it was about an hour-long call on Tuesday that reportedly was a bit dramatic, with Netanyahu frustrated that President Trump decided to postpone that renewed military campaign against Iran. We know that Netanyahu has advocated for more strikes on Iran at some point and believes that their military should be decimated even further, despite President Trump claiming a success with the operation so far. And President Trump has kept that option of more strikes on the table, while also saying if he can save lives by delaying it and trying diplomacy, that he will choose that route instead.
All right, Aaron Navarro, thank you.